Hey, welcome to Endurance Sports University. Thanks for stopping by. This quick video is going to talk about racing and training with the power meter and why that is important to you. If you're racing long course, whether that be a 70.3 or an Ironman, having a power meter and knowing how to use it, not only in training, but in racing, is pretty much legalized cheating. So let me show you how we're going to do that. A little bit about me, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Ryan Reel. I am the head coach and founder of Endurance Sports University, USAT Level 2 Youth and Junior Certified Coach, master's degree in exercise physiology and biomechanics, got another master's in organic and biological chemistry, have been a USA Triathlon High Performance Team head coach and team director since 2011, was a Training Bible elite coach from 2013 till earlier this year in 2015 when I decided to break off, do my own thing, and form Endurance Sports University. So let's get to the racing and training with power meter. All right, so what's a power meter? For those of you that don't know, it's a device that is put on your bike that measures the amount of power in watts that you're producing while you turn the pedals. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. The two brands that I really like, PowerTap, they have hubs built into wheels. They have a pedal-based power meter now, and they have just come out with a chainring-based power meter. So PowerTap's got a little bit of everything. And then Garmin, of course, always excellent products. They have the Vector power meter, which is based in the pedals. So two brands that I highly recommend right there. All right, guys, so power. Watts are the most accurate way to determine the current level of effort that's being put forth by an athlete. All right, that's just as simple as it gets. It's an instantaneous reading of the force being applied to the pedals while the athlete is working. So whether it is direct or whether it is an indirect reading, it is measuring the amount of force you're applying to the pedals every time you step down. And the best thing about it, a watt's a watt. It doesn't matter whether you're going uphill or downhill, with or against the wind, whether you're hydrated, dehydrated, it's hot or cold, whatever it is, a watt's a watt. It's measuring the amount of force you're applying to the pedals. And that's what makes this technology so outstanding. All right, so power meter, outstanding way to measure the effort that you're putting out because it's measuring the power that you are transferring to the pedals. That's why this is the gold standard of cycling technology right here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so FTP, we need to talk briefly about that. Functional threshold power. All right, so when we're talking about the bike, it's functional threshold power. FTP is the highest power that a rider can maintain in a quasi-steady state without fatiguing for approximately 1 hour. That's the textbook definition of FTP. What it is in more layman's terms, that's the power output at lactate threshold. All right, so that's the point at which your body starts accumulating more lactic acid or blood lactate than it can clear. All right, that's it, straightforward. So some of the stuff that makes this so valuable, what do we get out of a power meter? First one, power to weight ratio, right? So watts per kilogram of body weight. Simple way to determine the ability of one rider versus another or of a different size and gender. All right, so here's an example for you. Athlete number one is a guy, 6'4", 220, weighs 100 kilograms, has an FTP of 300. Athlete number two, 5'1" female, 105 pounds, has an FTP of 200. All right, so the question is, who is pound for pound the stronger rider? Who's the stronger rider overall? The guy is. He's going to generate more power. He's got more size, more mass. He's going to generate it. But who's stronger pound for pound? Power meter will let us see that. So when we simply take their power output at FTP, divide it by their weight in kilograms, the male athlete is 3.0 watts per kilogram, pretty solid. For the girl, she's 4.19. That's pretty darn solid, right? So who's the stronger rider pound for pound? The woman is, absolutely. So this is going to be able to be used to determine, hey, at FTP, who's a stronger athlete? For a given session, who had the highest power to weight ratio, right? So this is metric number one, really gives us a good insight into the overall ability of the athlete. All right, second metric, normalized power, or NP. This is a outstanding metric. This is the metric that makes racing and training with the power meter the gold standard, right? So it's an estimate of the wattage that you would have averaged if you'd pedaled smoothly over the entire effort. So what it's doing, it's removing all the zeros, so whether it be from coasting, stopping at a stoplight, stopping to refill water bottles, whatever it is, it's removing the zeros and it's smoothing out the power file, right? So it's an estimation of the power output for a given session that your body thinks that it is doing or has done, all right? So therefore, what is normalized power doing? It's providing us a better measurement than average power of the true physiological demands of a given training session. Average power has all the highs, all the lows. It's a simple mathematical equation. Normalized power is the estimation of the true physiological demands. Normalized power is the one we need to look at. All right, so variability index, the third metric. It is a measurement of pacing, right? Are we having steady pacing or are we erratic, right? And that's a really important thing for triathletes because we got to get off the bike and run. So comparing normalized power to average power. Very straightforward. Divide normalized power by average power. It's going to give you your variability index or your VI. For triathletes, if it's less than 1.05, you're good. If it's more than 1.05, you're riding too hard. All right? If it's at 1.0, perfect pacing. That means your normalized power and your average power are the same thing. If it's less than 1, and pardon the opposite signs there, greater than and less than, had a little issue there apparently. If you got a VI that is less than 1, it's a decreasing steady state, right? And that's where you're going to want to go back, check out the efficiency factor, check out the coupling, and see where you're at for a given ride, or why we have a decreasing steady state. The demands of the ride or the race could also lead to that. All right, intensity factor. This one is huge. This is an absolute gold mine right here. It's the ratio of normalized power to FTP. So it's going to tell us how hard the ride truly was. Remember, normalized power gives a true, accurate representation of how hard the ride was. So all we simply do, we are going to divide normalized power by FTP. That gives us our intensity factor. It's going to give us a decimal. Multiply it by 100, you got a percentage. All right, so it's going to allow us to compare two different athletes' rides, how hard was each person's ride, because it's now based off of each athlete's FTP and the normalized power, which is the more accurate representation of the physiological demands of the ride. All right, so common intensity factors, got this out of Joe Friel's book, The Power Meter Handbook. Great summary table right here. You can take a look at it. Normally, an Ironman age grouper is going to be somewhere between 0.6 and 0.7, meaning their normalized power is between 60 and 70% of FTP. For an elite caliber Ironman athlete, it's going to be 70 to 79%. You can see the rest of the numbers here as we come down. All right, so remember, if our normalized power is equal to the FTP, we have an answer, or an answer of 1.0. So you see for Olympic and sprint triathlons, long distance time trials, short mountain bike races, we would expect to see the athlete riding right about threshold. For short time trials, we'd expect them to see a power output that is over FTP. All right, so remember, it is a percentage of FTP using normalized power. All right, so here's the big one right here, training stress score. This metric ties it all together for us. It's an indicator of the workout and the interplay between duration and intensity, right? So it's measuring the training load, how much stress is a given session, whether it's training or racing, putting on an athlete. All right, so from there, it's a cumulative TSS. It's reflecting the training load that's relating to both fatigue and fitness. That's why this is coming to a conclusion, and it is so valuable. All the metrics before this lead into training stress score. Training stress score opens up all kinds of doors for developing race plans, for testing and verifying a race plan, for training to meet the demands of your race plan, etc. This is an absolute gold mine. Here's the equation, right? Training stress score is equal to, right? And the stuff in red, that's your moneymaker right there. The time of the session in seconds, the normalized power for the session, the intensity factor for the session, the athlete's current FTP, 3,600 is the number of seconds in 1 hour. Multiply it by 100 gives us a nice round number. Training stress score is the number that you're getting from a power meter. You also get this from a GPS device on the run, but training stress score, that's where we can monitor how your training's going. How much fatigue are we putting on you? What's going on with your fitness? What's going on with your race readiness? All right, so it's really cool, right? But how is it useful? Give me more, all right? Gotcha, no problem. There's two main reasons that training stress score is useful. Number one, we can use it to help with pacing during a race, which is going to ensure that you can ride as hard as you can on the bike leg, still be able to have the best run possible, right? And that goes back to developing a race plan. Absolutely essential. Since we've started implementing this here at Endurance Sports University, we've had PR after PR after PR after PR. It is outstanding. I absolutely love looking at our athletes' results on the weekends. It's absolutely awesome. All right, so it's pretty much legalized cheating when it comes to pacing, especially for half or full Ironman distance races. We can develop a race plan that is based off of training stress score and exactly what you need to do to match your goal. It's outstanding. It's absolutely worth every single penny that anybody has ever paid us to help them achieve their goals. Reason number two, we can use TSS to determine the following information about each athlete individually. What's your level of fatigue? What's your levels of fitness? and how race ready are you? If those aren't three things that you would like to know at any given point, then you are just simply participating in triathlon, you are working out, you're not training or racing. All right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to put a little more purpose behind what you're doing, you need to know, what's my level of fatigue? How fit am I? And am I ready to race or not? All right? Absolutely glorious right there. So the best part, we use this to determine your training going into the future. So it's ensuring that we're applying the proper stress without doing too much. We're going to get the most out of your time and your training session. The most valuable thing any person has is their time. Nobody likes having their time wasted. Having a power meter removes all the guessing. It removes everything like that, and it's going to get the most out of your time every single time you get on a bicycle. And if that's not enough to sell you on a power meter, I don't know what is. All right, so some more stuff that we can go to when we're looking about fatigue, fitness, race readiness. Fatigue, acute training load, or ATL, right? That's going to be used to determine fatigue. It's a rolling 7-day average of training stress scores. Chronic training load, or CTL, there's your fitness, right? It's going to be a 42-day rolling average that is weighted of your training stress scores. All right, so there's fatigue, there's fitness, we have numbers, we have graphs. We can very clearly see what is the training that someone's writing for you doing to you as an athlete. All right, remember, fitness, in terms of athletic performance, is the readiness to race at a high level of performance for a specific race distance and type. The level of fitness you need to excel at an Ironman is slightly different than what you'll need to excel at a sprint or an Olympic distance race. And this is why these numbers are so important. So why do I care about fatigue and fitness? What do I care, right? Very simple. Form, or race readiness, is your fitness, or CTL numbers, minus your fatigue, or your acute training load numbers. That's going to tell us how race ready are you, right? You got a coach or somebody that knows how to do this, it removes the guessing. You're going to go out and you're going to hammer these races, you're going to achieve your goals, you're going to set new PRs, you're going to love the power meter. All right, so performance management chart. This is where it all ties together, right? So we have all the metrics that give us a training stress score. The training stress scores give us acute training load or fatigue, chronic training load or fitness, and then it gives us the training stress balance or form, which is chronic training load minus acute training load, or fitness minus fatigue. All right, so this is a chart that I copied over from an athlete that I worked with, I believe it was last year in 2014 for an Ironman. You can see the red, that's the measurement of fatigue, right? How hard is a given training session hitting this athlete, right? Where you see the dotted line, that's right where they are about to start the taper, all right? So from here, I'm sorry, not the taper, but the race, all right? So when we take a look at the blue line, that's fitness, right? So we're seeing that steadily increase. Again, right to the dotted lines, and then here's the yellow. Yellow is race ready, right? So what you're seeing, this is about a week before race day, right? They're going to be projected to cross over and get up into the positive numbers somewhere around shortly after the 23rd, which is about 5 to 7 days before when they race. So this can tell us where's our level of fatigue and fitness when we're getting ready to start the taper, where's our race readiness. We can manage this. Make sure your taper's dialed in and you achieve your goals. This is it right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is how the people that are ending up on the podium and that have this technology, those two tend to be synonymous with each other. This is how they're doing it. This is the secret that they're not telling you about. But here you go. You got all the info that you need. All right, so this is great for cycling, right? Cool, thanks, Coach Ryan. We appreciate it. But yeah, I still have to swim and run. I mean, what can we do with that? Yeah, we got you covered. Don't worry. We can do the exact same thing. We can account for that. All right, swimming TSS and running TSS. It's the same as a bike. Indicates the same thing, training load, the interplay of duration and intensity. For swimming, we need to have a watch that works in the pool, 910, 920 from Garmin, whatever it may be. It's going to use your lactate threshold swimming pace, the total distance, and the total time. That's going to generate a swimming TSS. For running, we're going to use speed since it ultimately is a function of power, right? So normalized graded pace is what that's going to be generating those numbers for us, right? So there's good news and bad news with training stress score, swimming, biking, running. All right, so good news, TSS is the cutting edge of science when it comes to quantifying training load. If you want to get the most out of your time, you want to be certain that you're doing what you need to do, you need training stress score, you need acute training load, chronic training load, training stress balance, which is form or race readiness. You got to have it. That's the good news. It's available to anybody, right? What's the bad news? Bad news is not all training stress scores are created equal, and this has to be accounted for when you're looking at a performance management chart or you're in Training Peaks or WKO+. All right, so remember, a training stress score of 100 is based on a 1-hour ride at FTP, right? That's what the cycling training stress score is, all right? So that being said, we would have to swim for an hour at our functional threshold pace for swimming. If we're running, we have to run at our threshold running pace, so functional threshold pace, for 1 hour, right? So if we look at this, a 1-hour swim, that's something that most people could do every single day for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks at threshold, total swim time, not have a major issue unless you have some sort of underlying condition. Easy to do, not a major issue. Having somebody go out and ride for an hour at threshold every single day, very doable. Look at the Tour de France. Look at what plain cyclists do, generating a TSS of 100 for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Super simple. It's definitely more physically demanding than swimming, but very doable. When we look at a 1-hour run, how many days in a row could you run for 1 hour at threshold before you break? 2, 3, 4 days, maybe 5, right? So the weight, if you will, or the impact of these training stress scores is a TSS of 50 for the run is a lot more physically demanding than a TSS of 50 on the bike, which is a lot more demanding than a TSS of 50 in the pool. We have to keep that in mind. All right, so there's a ton of info I've just thrown at you, kind of like turning a fire hose on you. So why do you care? Why should you care? Right? Because a coach who understands the science behind the training and can use the info that I've showed you here to manage your training from day to day, week to week, from training block to training block, from race to race, is going to ensure that you are as prepared as possible and that your taper is absolutely dialed in. What else could you ask for as an athlete? What else could you possibly want other than for somebody else to go out and do it for you? But then at that point, you're not really doing triathlon anyway. So this is it. This is the gold standard right here, ladies and gentlemen. All right? It removes all the guessing. There is no more guessing. Oh, I think I went hard enough, or I think it was reading correctly. No, it's there. There you go. Those are the numbers. Bada bing, bada boom, done. Super simple. All right, so this sounds great, right? But I'm not sure this is worth the investment, right? That's what the majority of you that are watching this is thinking, oh man, I don't know if I have $600, $700, $800 or more to pay for this. I got you on the science. It makes sense. I want to use this. I like the cutting edge of science. Is this really going to make a difference for me as an athlete? I'm just a normal age grouper. I'm just getting into triathlon. I just like doing some sprints and Olympic. I'm just going to do Ironman to finish it. Is it worth the investment? You've seen what I've presented to you so far. You tell me, do you want to make the most out of your time? Do you want to remove the guessing? Do you want to know that you're maximizing your training and your potential? I would imagine you do, even if you're just doing this for fun. So it's okay, because here's why. We believe in training and racing with power so strongly here at Endurance Sports, we'll put our money where our mouth is. Very simple. I will put my money, as the founder and owner of Endurance Sports, I'll put my money where my mouth is, that a power meter is the biggest single tool that you can own that will make a gigantic difference in your training and your racing and achieving your goals at the end of the day. And here's how. You make a commitment to yourself. Make a commitment to your training, to your racing, and achieving your goals. You sign up for 12 months of coaching with us, I'm going to give you a free power meter. You don't have to spend $700, $800, $900, $1,000. I'm going to give you one for free. You use it. You got the coaching that you're going to need. The coaching staff here at Endurance Sports University understands power. We understand the science. We understand the metrics. We understand everything that I showed you in this presentation and how to get the most out of it. And that's why I have no problem telling you, hey, you sign up for 12 months of coaching. You make that commitment to yourself, and I'll make a commitment to you, and I'll give you the power meter. You know why? You're going to see results. You're going to love it. You are going to be more happy than you have ever been when you have that power meter. All right? So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're interested, all you got to do, give us a call, 877-375-3634. Or you can go to Endurance Sports University, somewhere down towards the bottom of the page. You're going to see the free power meter tab. Go ahead and click on that. If you're watching this on an ESU webpage, go ahead and fill out that web form that's somewhere on this page. We're going to get back in touch with you in the next 24 to 48 business hours. We'll get you all the info. If it sounds good, if we think we'll be a good fit to work with you, if you think we'll be a good fit to work with you, we'll get rolling. We'll get a power meter into your hands. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good luck.